All right, now we're continuing the Dvar Malchut, the royal words of the Rebbe from a speech that the Rebbe gave in Hanukkah in 1991, the end of 1991. Just like it is this year. Maybe it was the beginning of 1992. I have to look in the calendar. But anyway, it was Tafshin Nun Beit. And the Rebbe is trying to explain to us what the difference between the Greeks and the Jews were. And the goal of the Greeks and the goal of the Jews, the purpose of the Jews. And this is expressed in oil. Oil. That's why the holiday of Hanukkah is a holiday which centers around oil. Rebbe says that the oil represents what's called the secrets of Judaism. Secrets of Judaism. What does it mean, the secrets of Judaism? Basically, what it means is the pure godliness of Judaism that is totally above understanding. In other words, it's not just a secret, that it's things which can only be understood by the privileged few, the very great tzaddikim, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai or Rebbe Lubavitcher. Only these great people, the Baba Sali, they have access to these deep, deep secrets of the Torah. That's what's called secrets. But here we're talking about secrets of secrets, things which are totally incomprehensible. The pure godliness which is in the Torah. And that's represented by oil. The secrets is represented by wine. The Rebbe said there's water and bread and wine and oil. Those are four different descriptions which are given to the Torah. It was comparisons, metaphors to the Torah. So the Torah is compared to water and bread because it's digestible and it provides for your Jewish soul. It provides sustenance for the world. The secrets, that provides happiness and excitement to the world. But the secrets of the secrets, basically, that's self-sacrifice. That says above understanding. That's sort of like the power that brought Abraham to be willing to sacrifice Yitzchak. Okay, that last thing, I threw that in. You can throw it out if you want to, but that's totally above even the secrets of the Torah, even the deeper secrets of the Torah. And that's the difference between the Jews and the Greeks. The Greeks were, for all intents and purposes, they were sophisticated people. They were very successful. They were talented. They also had their Bibles. They had their philosophies. They were, how do you say, the comparable. There's a better word to it. Better word than this. They were. Can't think of the word. Okay, there was something like the Jewish people in all of these ways. Similar. Okay, there's a better word I wanted, but similar to the Jewish people in many ways. And one big thing is they like to have fun. And Jews like to have fun. And so that the Jewish people agreed with. Right? The Jewish people agreed with. The goal of Judaism, at least God promises that if you do what I say, you're going to have success, you're going to have the rains in their time, and stuff like that. And here's the Greeks, and they got all these successful things. They got it. They got all the promises of the Torah. They got, right? The Torah doesn't promise you're going to go to heaven. It doesn't say in the written Torah, at least, you're going to go to heaven. And these people, they believed in their heavens also. The Greeks had heaven and afterlife. So the Jews liked the Greeks. The Jews liked it. And the Greeks didn't even wreck the Holy Temple. The Greeks said you can do your religious acts. We have our religions too, and you can have your religions, right? Like Napoleon. Liberty, fraternity, equality, everyone's equal, no problem. The big thing is they wanted to get God out of the picture. In fact, everything is not equal. The Jews are God's chosen people, and we are chosen to be public servants. We're different. Jews have a special job to bring blessing to the whole world that no one else has this job. Everybody should do it. It's a good thing to bring blessing to the world. But the Jewish people are the only ones that were chosen to do this, to bring blessing to the world. So you can't have equality. And liberty for sure not. You have to be limited to the laws of the Torah. And fraternity is a very good thing, but it has its limits. You can't intermarry, you can't, etc. And the Greeks had no problem with all these things. But the Jews also agreed with the Greeks. Why have problems? Let's us also not have any problems with these things. That's the oil. The oil is because God says it, therefore you should do it. And the Greeks didn't agree with this thing about God. They agreed with whatever is good for you, beneficial for you, that's what you should do. And we're going to show you a whole world that you're going to benefit from. And the Jews said, we're here for God, and we're here only for the creator of the universe. And whatever benefits the creator of the universe, that's what we're going to do. Even though apparently it might not be good, like Abraham taking his son to kill him. It was not a good coming. That's Judaism. That's the oil. So therefore, the point of the miracle of Hanukkah is pure oil. Again, the Greeks broke into the Holy Temple and they didn't destroy anything. They didn't wreck the altar and they didn't wreck the menorah. And the tablets already weren't there. The tablets already had been buried down deep below. There's in the special rooms that King Solomon built when he built the first temple. He built these special rooms, a special room down in twisted tunnels and things like that to get to it. That's where the tablets were. So they couldn't get to the tablets, but they got to everything else, and they didn't wreck anything. All they did was defile it, including all of the oil. There was plenty of oil. The Greeks defiled the oil. How did they do that? Just by opening the bottles. So they found one bottle of pure oil that was there with the seal of the high priest, and there wasn't enough to light except for one day, and there was a big miracle, and they lit 8 days. Gave them time to crush grapes and make new oil. Okay, now they had a lot of oil over there, but they didn't use it. They only used one bottle, and that bottle lasted for 8 days. It wasn't such a big miracle, because if it would have lasted only for a couple hours, they could have taken other oil. The Rebbe points out that according to the Torah, it was permissible according to the Torah for them to use defiled oil. There's a law, tuma hutra b'tzibur, that if there's no other alternative, then you can go into the Holy Temple impure in certain cases. And this was one of the cases. Since the decree of the Greeks was to make them forget your Torah, they didn't mind that the Jews learned the Torah, but they didn't want the Jews to think it was the Torah from God. And it was the Torah is for you. You're not for the Torah. If it benefits you, do it. If it doesn't benefit you, then you don't need it. It's your Torah. It's not God's Torah. Torah techa, that means to make them forget God's Torah. Your Torah is referring to God. Sheratzu l'tamei, that they wanted to defile the holiness of the wisdom of the Torah. What does it mean, defile? To make it egotistical. As the Torah is there for you. The Torah is there for you. Don't try to emulate Abraham that is willing to do everything for God. Right? Forget it. That's not what we want. That's what the Greeks said we don't want. And you don't want it either. You want this life of self-sacrifice. Who needs to be like Abraham? Be like us. That's what the Greeks said. And you can learn Torah. You can do your commandments. You can do the whole thing. But you're doing it for yourself. That's the point. That's called impure. You're taking God out of the picture. The Creator out of the picture. But there had to be the miracle to stress the holiness and the wisdom of the Torah. In other words, the holiness of the Torah, the Talmud, your understanding of the Talmud is a big, huge miracle. It's a miracle from God. It's not your intelligence that's superior. Therefore, you understand the Torah. It's God's blessing that gave you the ability to understand the Torah. And some people understand better than others. That's a big blessing from God. She Torah told that it is the wisdom of God. The Torah is the wisdom of God. This is your Torah. as a result, you can't have such things like nowadays they have reform, conservative, different levels of conservative, right? The Torah says you have to believe in the rabbis. That's going too far. Right? That's going too far. But it's God's Torah. If God says to do it, then that's what you have to do. You have to do what Rebbe Akiva says and what Beit Shammai says and what Rabbah and Abaya say and what all the rabbis in the Talmud say, because God commanded you to do what they said. It's not you're not one of the rabbis of the Talmud. And those people were totally devoted to God 100%, and you're not. You're not. You're like the Greeks. You're devoted to yourself. Therefore, devoting yourself to God's Torah, that represented that they weren't willing to use impure oil. By means of this, that they found one bottle of pure oil that was not defiled by the Greeks, and even more, they found one bottle of oil that was sealed, and it was sealed with the seal of the high priest, Kohen Gadol. Now, and we just finished learning in Torah Or that Aaron, the high priest, his job was to inspire and love in every Jew the love of God. That's the job of Aaron. This incomprehensible, crazy love of God, that's the essence of what Judaism is, that is inspired by Aaron HaKohen, the high priest. And here they found one bottle of oil that was not only pure, it was sealed with the seal, the personal seal of this high priest. This is the highest level of pure oil. She'ein b'yocholso, that for some amazing reason, the Greeks did not get to it. Says the Rebbe, they weren't able to get to it. This is the essence of the Jewish soul, which Aaron wakes up. Which he wakes this up. Naaseh Bones, there was a miracle, and this bottle of pure oil became very super practical. It became so practical that it served the purpose of 8 bottles of regular oil. It lit for 8 days. Shiva Yamim, 7 extra days on the first day that it had. So there was already enough for 1 day, but it lasted for 8 days. So the miracle is really only 7 days. 7 days. There's places where it's a question that's asked by other people in Beis Yosef. It's also asked, why do we light candles for 8 days? They found a bottle that had enough for 1 day. So the first day was not a miracle. The first day was not a miracle. The first day was regular. The miracle is that it continued lasting for 8 days. So there's different answers that are given to this question. One of the answers is that when they finished the holiday of Hanukkah, they saw that none of the oil, all of the oil was still there. Right? That's one answer. Another answer is that every day only 1/8 of the oil burned. But another answer, and that's the answer which is usually used in Chabad, is this: the fact that they found the bottle of oil the first day, that was a miracle itself. So finding the oil was the first day's miracle. And the fact that it lasted for 7 extra days, that's the next 7 days. However it is, the 7 days that it lasted, those include the 7 days of creation. The whole entire, cycle of time. And this, the idea of the pure oil, and this is stressed by learning the secrets of the Torah. When a person learns the revealed part of the Torah, the Talmud, the Shulchan Aruch, the laws of the Torah, since that he's working in matters of the world, then you learn the Torah. So it could be because the tremendous darkness in the world, shemakirim ba'otzam haflas hachachma, that a person, let's say, is very, very wise, and he's very smart, very intellectual, scholarly, and he recognizes the greatness, wisdom of the Torah. He realizes that the Torah is a tremendous, deep, amazing, impressive wisdom, fantastic wisdom, and you can appreciate the Torah like the Greeks did. without recognizing Hargisha, to feel that this is the wisdom of God. And the advice is, listen, there are people that were great authors in the world. And these people that were great authors were inspired people. They weren't like everybody else. They were inspired people. You can see this especially in music. There were people that were just great composers. They were just inspired people. They were different from everybody else. There were thousands of composers, but they didn't do the same thing as what these composers did. You listen to Rachmaninoff or things like that, just fantastic, right? These were people that were gifted. Why were they gifted from? Obviously, they were gifted from God. Obviously, they were gifted as a gift. But you could say that, okay, what type of a God is it? It's a God of music. It's a God of, the main thing is the person. The main thing is this person. The Rachmaninoff or whoever, that's the main thing. It says, the Torah is trying to tell us that it's not so. The main thing is God. And God expresses certain miracles through these people, through Moses, through the Torah. So when you read the Torah, the main thing is not the Torah, the wisdom of the Torah. The main thing is the godliness of the Torah. The Torah, unlike music, is pure godliness. Right? Music is a mundane thing, but the Torah is really pure 100% godliness. It's not just a tool of God. It's pure godliness. But the Greeks didn't see it that way. The Greeks saw only the wisdom of the Torah, how the Torah was impressive, how the Torah was so deep, and they took godliness out of the Torah. The same thing with the oil. The oil burned, but they took the godliness out of the oil. They defiled it. They opened up all the bottles. It was regular oil, but they took the godliness out of it, the craziness out of it. What's the advice? The advice is that learning the revealed part of the Torah should be together with learning the inside of the Torah. That's the idea of Chassidut, knowing God. Like it says, Da'et Elokei Avicha. You have to know the God of your father. Shema Yisrael means understand. You have to understand God. By means of this is also the learning of the revealed part of the Torah, the Talmud and the Shulchan Aruch and Mishnah, etc. It becomes a part of the holiness of the Torah that you can feel that this is the wisdom of God. And in the concealed part of the Torah itself is stressed that there's the concealed Torah, but then there is the oil of the Torah. The oil of the Torah, that's really the deepest secrets of the secrets. Because not only that oil represents the secrets of the Torah, which is above even the wine of the Torah, but oil is stressed by the fact that it's not a liquid on itself. It doesn't satisfy your thirst. You add the oil, just like the secrets of the Torah. It's not a thing to itself. It can only its whole I'd say its whole utility is only when it's mixed with something else. Shar Michael, if you put oil on even bread, then it becomes tasty. You put oil in your food, it adds a certain taste of richness to the food. Not only that, oil, it spreads out into everything. If a little drop of oil falls on your shirt, whatever, then it spreads out. Very difficult to get it out. Oil, you think it's the secrets of the Torah, it's the highest of the high, so it shouldn't mix into anything. Right? It didn't mix into anything. And in fact, in liquids, that's the way it is. In liquids, oil always floats above. Liquids, it floats above. But in anything else solid, it doesn't float above. And not only that, if you want to use oil, you have to mix it in with something. That's the purpose of oil. Dugma, so something like the oil of the Torah. The Torah is united and it unifies itself with the Torah. It's the same thing with godliness, right? When godliness is pure, God is revealed in the world doesn't stop existing. Exactly the opposite. The essence of what pure godliness is that God wants the world to be here. He wants people to have families. He wants people to have money in the bank. But these things should be permeated, just like oil permeates into the food. They should be permeated with the awareness that it's really God's money and it's God's house and it's God's family. And then things will act normally, but like a car where it has oil, it works properly. Then even the revealed parts of the Torah, and which you should work in and understand with your normal brain, but it becomes enhanced by the oil of the Torah. Learning the revealed parts of the Torah, it becomes part of the holiness of the Torah. So, for instance, you learn a law in the Shulchan Aruch, right? It's not just you learn a law of what Judaism is, and this it's a thing that becomes part of you. That you really want to be exact on every law of the Torah. It's very interesting. Sometimes you see not argument. You can call it arguments between Jews. Why are you doing it that way? You can't, right? You make coffee on Shabbat. How do you do it? You can't take water directly from the thing and pour it on the grounds. You're not allowed to. The other person says, well, according to this opinion, you can do it because the grounds have already been boiled and there's no boiling after boiling. Says, yeah, but you're changing the nature of it. You're making from a solid into a liquid. According to this opinion, that's forbidden. Another says, no, but according to this opinion, because it was a liquid before, and they're arguing about how to be exact in what the Torah says. And so the argument it can be very heated, but all they're interested in is just being, I say, vessels for what God wants. The Torah is godly. That's the point. The Torah is godly, and the laws become godly. So you're doing things because it's not your things, right? It's because everything is God's things, especially the commandments. And that's by means of all of this, the main thing, the oil is a thing that shines. It shines. Oil floats above other liquids. Oil permeates, right? Oil is this, but the main thing is that oil shines. Oil does something amazing that wine doesn't do. No other liquid does. The liquid of oil, it shines. I mean, I guess gasoline and things like that. Alcohol, but the oil shines. That's what makes the Torah shine. It's what makes the Torah happy and beautiful. The godliness of the Torah, even the strictness of the Torah, the strict laws of the Torah, it becomes part of the beauty, the limit, like an oil lamp. If there's a hole in the side of it, so it doesn't light up anymore, the oil runs out, and not just then it affects a person not just when he's in the how do you say, his little own area, personal area of his life. But it also, when a person learns Torah, it affects also his whole entire surroundings. Like it's the same thing about lighting the lights of Hanukkah. The miracle of Hanukkah was set on oil, and that there's one opinion that says that it's a commandment to put the lights of Hanukkah on the outside. If you want to, you can take the lights of Hanukkah, put it. Some people say you have to do it. According to the Arizal, you don't have to do it. You can put it in your house, but nevertheless, it says in the Gemara that the light of Hanukkah lights are supposed to be put outside of your house, in the entrance of the house, so it shines out into the street. And you're supposed to light the lights of Hanukkah when it's already getting dark outside. Mishetishka Achama, from the time when the sun sets until Tichla Regel Min Ashuk, until there's nobody left in the marketplace. It's given the time when you're supposed to light the lights of Hanukkah. It used to be that when the sun went down, then businesses closed. Businesses closed up. People didn't walk around in the streets so much. There were lamps that they lit in the nighttime. And you could go, but the nighttime was not a busy time. People stayed at home in the nighttime. All the markets were closed in the nighttime. That's what it was. So it says the time of lighting Hanukkah candles is from the time when the sun sets. When the sun sets, it's still light outside, right? You just don't see the ball of the sun anymore. It's still light outside for another 20, 30 minutes, sometimes even longer. So it says from the time that the sun sets until there's no one left in the marketplace. No. It says even the last people are gone from the marketplace. It says who are the last people in the marketplace? A group of people which were called the Tarmudai. Tarmudai. It says Ad Kalmia Ragla the Tarmudai. It says that there's no more Tarmudai. Now the Tarmudai, I guess they were sort of type of gypsies or something like that, and they would make their living from collecting little pieces of wood and little branches and things like that that were left in the marketplace that people trampled on. And then they would go around to people's houses and sell these little branches to people as firewood to start fires with. Because in order to start a fire, you can't start a fire with a big log. So they would sell these little twigs to people, and they made a good living off of it. That's what they did. But in order to do this, they had to wait until everyone else left the marketplace. And there was just very dim light left. Everybody else left in order to go home. But that's when they made their living. They would pick up these little branches and put them into bags, whatever, and they would go around to people's houses and sell them. It says these people were called the Tarmudai. So it says you can light the lights of Hanukkah. The ideal time of lighting lights of Hanukkah is from the time the sun sets until there's no more Talmudai in the marketplace. Then it's total dark. In the marketplace, when there is Talmudai, the letters of the word Talmudai, Tarmudai, or Tarmodai, these are the letters of Moredet, rebellers, those who rebel against God. The lights of Hanukkah cause to negate those who rebel against God, or even more, the rebellion attitude that each one of us has in our hearts against God. What's this rebellion spirit that everybody has in your heart? Your egotism. God says this, but I don't want to do it. God says this, but I say that. God says this is forbidden, but I like it. God said you have to do this commandment, but I don't want to. That little feeling of who's the boss over here? I'm the boss. That's the Talmudai. That's a natural feeling. It's the lights of Hanukkah. That's the Greek feeling. The lights of Hanukkah do away with this. Shalo yishar, that there will not remain even the feet of the Ragla, the Talmudai. Even the Regel Hachi Acharon, the last moments of exile, when before the sunset says, Kol Gama Targum, Agorim, and Agorim the Gorim, even a possibility of any rebellion against God. And even more, that the lights of Hanukkah, they bring about a kilion. It says Kaliya the Rebbe at the time, that the feeling of rebelling against God, it becomes excited to serve God. Kaliya l'mayliyoso. The regular, even the feeling of rebelling against God, it itself becomes excited for God. When a person says, God says I should do this, but I don't want to do it, and I'm going to defy this. Wow, now I can go against. I'm accomplishing something by doing this commandment. I'm accomplishing two things. I'm doing what God wants, and I'm also defeating my selfishness, my my darkness. That also even the forces inside of myself, my own selfishness, my own egotism, should also come to kalot nefesh, to expire and be connected to the Creator. Why? Because of the great light of the ore, because of the great light of the oil of the Torah, the secrets of the Torah, the godliness of the Torah, that has an effect on us. Now, you should know when a person learns the Torah, so the Torah goes inside of you, you learn it, and that has an effect on a person. The Torah has an effect on it. It says the me'or shebo machzir l'motov. Says that a person that's not religious, he should also learn the Torah. Why? Because even though he might use the Torah for bad, but it says, but nevertheless, in fact, the Torah is godly, and that godliness eventually can have an effect on him, on the person. It can have an effect. So that's the me'or, that's the secrets of the godliness of the Torah has a positive effect, and that's the idea of Chanukah, to illuminate the entire world with the godliness of the Torah. That's what it means that we eventually defeated the Greeks, and by relighting the candles with holy light, as he gave us the power to transform the entire world. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. We're on Zion. Now let's do the Yom Yom.